Welcome back to Paul doing Paul things. Sounds so dumb for the 19 subscribers I have, but you know what? One day it may take off. You never know. More importantly, you can kind of just, I don't know. This might be useful for somebody someday. That's worth doing, or worth doing all this for. I honestly like editing. I need to get back into it because I'm literally down to my last videos live already, and I'm a couple months behind. I think I got all of March and April to do, and today is April 30th. But I've been working on some friends' cars and then ran into some stuff, so I'll just give you a quick update of where we're at. So I'm working on the truck. Got a new power steering unit because I originally thought that that's what the issue was with my truck. When I was out in the desert last time, which was about 2 weeks ago, I had an issue where on the last trail back, I had lost power steering. I was like, what the hell's going on? Well, I had a used remanufactured pump. I just presumed that it was the pump that was dead. Turns out it was the transmission cooler. You see that guy up there, and you see all the fluid coming out? Yeah, that's actually where it was. So I got the new pump installed, had it up in the air, added new fluid to it, and just started doing the seesawing back and forth, and all of a sudden, man, I was like, dang it, I'm still making the noise. Like, it's making the chattering power steering issue, even though it was initially fine. Well, turns out the power steering cooler lines are what went bad. And I went in here and I pressure washed the heck out of everything so it looks much better. Don't look up there. I installed, because I thought that I had chewed up the power steering pump, I had installed a magnetic filter for the power steering fluid. That's all not leaking, so that's great. But I needed a new power steering cooler, and what I think probably happened is when I was off-roading, as you can see under here, there's not a whole lot of protection under here. I think a rock got up and into that whole thing and punctured a line, or it just, I have no idea exactly what the issue is. But that thing's flopping around. It's not really supposed to be flopping around, but I was lazy and never put it back together. But such is life. So I'm going to install a new power steering cooler in front of my intercooler up here. Went to the Napa. I had to order one. Could have done Amazon, but I got this guy right here, which is quite a bit bigger. It's the 16539 heavy duty, 5 inches by 9 1/4, and it should be good. This should do the trick on that. Oh, my mom's calling. All right, I'll be back. And we're back. So yeah, I got a new power steering reservoir. I got the headers fully installed on the car. But I ran out of welding gas, so it's kind of hard to weld exhaust together without welding gas on the MIG setup. So that's what one of the collectors look like. The other collector is attached to the mid pipe. Though the exhaust is hung, I'm probably going to turn that bracket eventually just to make it more level so it doesn't look stupid. I got new clamps for that because they say they're 2 1/4, but I think they're actually 2 1/2. I'm gonna install new U-bolts. I got actual Spicer units that are supposed to be for this, so I'm gonna do that. But everything's lining up. I got it cut, and I'm gonna have to do some gap welding, of course, but neither here nor there. So I gotta go get some gas for the welder in the next, well, I'm hoping Friday I can run out and go do it. That would be ideal, so I can finish up the exhaust and finally get this dang thing fired up. Oh, spark plugs. Those should be here any day. And I'm hoping that they're short enough that I can get them all started, and then life will be hunky-dory. So, yeah, I'm just going to get this thing blown apart because I got to get this thing out of my driveway. It lives on the street. I could leave it here. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter what I do and how I do it, but it's just what I do. So, yeah. I'll let you know how it all works out when I'm done. Oh, one of the things I did do was I never liked... I had some bunching on my throttle cable. Kind of was doing this, and it worked, but it was all because of the way I had this thing mounted. You see I added this piece right here. Oh, I need to hit that with some more paint. That's cool. See that fabulous weld? Anyway, so what I did is I basically just, this piece used to be right here, so I just cut this off, added a little bit of metal here, and just shoved it back just a little bit. It should put me in about the right position. It'll be better than what it was, and that's all I'm going for. So yeah, I'm just gonna get cracking because I don't want to be out here forever. All right. I kind of wonder if they gave me the wrong one. I'm probably gonna run it anyway. Boy, that sure doesn't even look like it at all. 16539. 5 inches by 9.14. Well, maybe. Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't think it'll be a problem. And there's our baby power steering cooler. It's installed. It's good. It runs underneath, but over the frame rail. That's all pointed where it should be. I cut off this, which was heading straight to that cooler line, and all this should be good. So next step is to fire it up and see how we do. That's pretty much it. So yeah, let's try it. Time to be a certified gap welder. Ouch. Ugly. But, you know, sometimes you just measure once and then just go for it. So, whatever. Anywho, this evening's activities, at a minimum, I got my CO2 argon mix for my welder. That means I can finish welding that up. I'd love to get the exhaust system buttoned up. If I have extra time, I'd like to work on getting a new dipstick in, which I do have a new one. I think I'm going to have to punch out. I think part of the old one's still broken off. But I got one of these weather seals. They're rowdy. I got one of these guys. Just a universal job. Don't worry, the plastic isn't there for any reason. I think it's there to just guide this into the engine block. I don't know how this is going to work in the long run. It might be useful. We'll see. But it's about the right length. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It may sit down a little bit lower. Yeah, it sits down just a little bit lower, but I'm not really terribly worried about it. So yeah, let me get my welder hooked up, and I'm going to get that exhaust buttoned up, and I'll bring you back when I'm done with that. No real filming. I was editing some film earlier. I was editing some digital media files today, and I kind of like the way the footage went out when I had the head thing on, so I may go with that when I start working on some other stuff. It's kind of hard when you're underneath the car a lot to do that. Maybe I'll just put you guys up on a little pedestal. We'll see. So yeah, anyway, that's the plan. As we all know, I'm not God's gift to welding, but this does work. If you grab some TIG filler rod, this is a 1/8 inch, and you just feed it in, tack it up, and then just hammer it into place the way you need, and then just continue marching on. Like I said, it's ugly, but it's going to be sealed up. And it's ugly, but I don't really care. It's welded. I used the light test to find any pinholes. Oh, there's one right there. You can see it right there shining through. So I gotta blitz that real quick. And I get cute with the grinder, and it's really stupid. I shouldn't. This side's even uglier. But I honestly don't care at all. So I'm satisfied with this side. This side, when I started putting it together, it kind of looked like, I know that both of the collectors do line up exactly the same, and then when I stick this guy on here, boy, that sure looks right on the money. But when I was under there, it kind of looked like I needed some more length. Hard to tell, to be totally frank. So I'm going to just tack this onto here and then take it under the car, see if I can get it to fit. And then I can cut off the welds if I need to and do an extension. I cleaned up the edge and made it straight using my little bandsaw, and then I got this that I cut off some of the extra pipe just in case I need to, I don't know, add some more metal. Not ideal, but hey, it is what it is. I was correct. I do need to add back a little bit of distance there. I think that's about where it's going to seal. So I think the piece I cut out is going to be just right. I can get this to fit, but then this whole thing is kind of pulled this way. If you can see that. How about that? That's straight in line. That's like that. So what I wound up doing under here is getting that pretty well centered underneath there. And this has got a little wiggle room, so I'm not terribly worried about it. So I'm going to cut that off and add another, well, that piece back on that I got. I'll see if I can angle this downward a little bit, because this is kind of rising up just slightly. But I think it's going to be totally fine once I get that together. Worst case scenario is I got to cut off the end of this just a little bit, but I can do a straight cut, no big deal. You can see the bulge on the flange. This fits right in here, no problem. So worst case scenario is I just cut an inch off of here. That'll put this probably right about there. Yeah, if I take an inch off there, then that'll put it right here, and that'll be perfectly fine for what I'm doing. So yep, there's the gap I was talking about. It's strange, I didn't notice it. I figured that they would be about the same, and they are currently same, but apparently this mid pipe is not the same. And it's actually pretty easy to tell why when this thing's on the ground. So you can see that this pipe is not directly in the middle. So the way I see it is, yeah, this has got a much steeper kink in it than that one does. I don't know what the difference is. And I am putting this towards the top just because it's ugly otherwise. Maybe it should have gone the other way. But I got this oriented right. I got the bung welded on there, no problem. So though too, and it's clocked just the way I need it. But I'm going to have to cut that off anyway and extend this. But hey, it's all good. It's all part of the process. It's all part of it. And there we are. That's welded up. That's touching. It's snug enough. The whole thing can rotate up. That's the beauty about these ball collectors, is they can just rotate right on up, no problem. And this will rotate. No, that's fixed. No, that'll rotate as well. So I got lots of adjustability. But one thing's for sure, this whole thing is now a little too long, as you can see. So I'm going to have to go, and that's where the bump is. Hard to see it. That's where the bump is, where this thing will slide in and sleeve. So I'm pretty sure that I want to go to right about there. Right about there. So I'll stick that in my grindy thing, or my, not grindy thing, my what's it called, bandsaw. And I'm gonna cut that more like right here, about there. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll take down that middle piece, slide that on, put that on back there, and I hope I don't have to take it all off back there. I kind of wanted to redo the angle of that anyway, so it'd be nice to loosen that and just do that, and then call the exhaust done, and then we'll see what happens after that. You can see I got loads of weeping. Yes, this is full of ATF. I got weeping out the bolt holes. So I think the real solution is drop that pan one more time and go up a size on they call them time certs or helicoils, and just re-tap all of those out and install good bolts so that I can thread that in, and they don't need to be crazy tight, but they need to be snugger than what they are. And the other thing I read is that it's real common for fluid to come out the actual bolt holes, which I think is what's happening down here on a couple of them, like this. I think that's coming straight from the bolt hole, and the threads are just weeping around, similar to how this one is up here. So I'll retape that, but I'm going to have to do that another day. I just want to get this done, and I may leave this alone for now, and just try to drive on it when I get this thing dialed together. With any luck, anyway, we'll see what I can do. Now let's see how this turns out. Get you some excitement, some action going. See if the battery lasts too. There we go. That's gonna fall over for sure. And with that, we got a nice flat piece of exhaust. Nice. Alright, I'm going to go try to fit that thing up. I'll bring you back with the results. Alright. So I'm just finishing this up. I just moved you guys all over the place. Sorry. You're literally hanging by the exhaust, so I have no idea how it looks. So it's going to be what it's going to be. If it's trash, then I just won't include the footage. probably should have put this on before, but I didn't. I'm not the brightest bulb in the pack sometimes. There we go. Now, if I can get this on, probably just seeing a giant hairy arm. There we go. Now I can get it started. Probably only seeing a giant furry arm. I'm pretty sure I said that already. Couple threads. There. And so I'm just going to tuck this up over here. Now you're seeing a giant hairy arm. We'll just put that guy right there. And this is the last of the exhaust. No doubt something's going to break somewhere and I'm going to have to take all this off because that's just the way it works. There we go. So I had a little bit of a downward slope on this thing. There we go. The whole thing was kind of pointed down. That's tight enough. I'm not really reefing on it. There we go. There we go. Sucker's installed. I'll make better videos tomorrow when I come out here. I'm not going to get to the dipstick tube tonight. But there's the exhaust fully bolted up. Everything's tight. The rear exhaust is tight. I don't love the way those mufflers look. I don't think I have them on upside down. But, you know, it's entirely conceivable. Entirely possible. And don't mind blackberry smoke on the background. Yeah. The one on the right is tilting down a little bit. I think I'll just get a pry bar in there, loosen that one, and see if I can get it to turn a little bit. Nothing's perfect, but the actual exhaust is pretty level. You see my clamps there. I'll hit it with a little bit more paint before I fire it up for the first time. But I'm pleased with that. I mean, that was a lot of progress. Finally done. Long time coming. So, that being said, it's about 9 o'clock. It's time for me to quit. So, that's what I'm going to do. So, find something to do and go do it. Stay active. Expand your mind, brain. Think about stuff. Do stuff you've never done before. Do stuff you've never done before that's hard. You'll get better. You'll find out what you're made of. God bless you. Well, can a guy get a dipstick tube installed? Actually, can a guy get his dipstick tube installed and his new spark plugs installed? Well, I know for a fact that the spark plug won't fit. Well, it'll fit. but I'm going to have to ding the header. Whatever. 'Tis what it is. So, that's the plan. Oh. Car's fiberglass, they said. It'll be light. It's not light. That hood is heavy. Anywho, so the plan is to do that. I gotta finish looping the tranny fluid. Yeah, I got some things to do. The main thing is the dipstick tube. I'm gonna throw a camera on there so that you guys can see me try to struggle to do that. So the old dipstick tube broke off flush with the block. So I need to try to punch the remainder back down into the block, into the pan, and I don't give a crap about it sitting in the pan because that won't hurt anything. But that's the plan, so I'm going to get after it. Alright, so the dipstick is down near cylinder 3. Get this guy on cylinder 3. I'm an idiot. The third small head bolt, just straight down above the starter. How about this? I'm going to get you set up so that you can see that camera, and then I can fiddle. There it is. That's the dipstick tube hole. Okay. And I need to enter in, and that's already chamfered, which is nice. You can see it. I thought I had a piece that was stuck in the head or in the dipstick tube hole, but I don't think I do. There we go. So I think I'm good there. And yeah, it's a little grease, and no, I don't care. So, that being said, turn that off. By the way, it's a nice little tool. It's got one of these guys that you can articulate. I dig it. But, you saw that hole. I gotta get this started in there. And once that's flush, then I've got to get this to go inside that hole afterwards, and then I will have a dipstick. I wonder if I can separate this piece so I'll get a good flat. Well, we'll see. It may slide in easy. I'm not real sure. We can just see how that works. Now, that's going to need to be... I chamfered that edge to give it a little bit of a start, give me a fighting chance. I may have to chamfer that one as well. That's going to take some pounding. Unless, I mean, it came with no directions. Maybe this just goes all the way in. I mean, that's entirely conceivable. I'll experiment with that, but I'm almost positive that this has to go in first. Or maybe this is for two different types, because that is a knurled edge. So maybe I don't even need this piece. It's possible that this will just go straight in and this will grip it. These little grippy grips. Huh. I'm going to try that first and see. Because it is a small hole. Anyway, I'll let you know how I come out. See if you can see that. Oh. Maybe that'll block it out a little. Trying to do one thing with my left hand. There we go. You can kind of see I got it started, and I was correct. That this dipstick tube should just push straight in. I don't need that little adapter thing I tried chamfering. So that should go the rest of the way in without too much of a fight. So I'm just going to go ahead and push it in and call it good. Woo! There's this guy. All right, dipstick tube is installed enough. Starter is reinstalled. Now it's spark plugs all the way around, and I'm going to have to dimple that one header and then yeah, get cracking. So I'm going to get those spark plugs installed on this side and work my way over to the other side. All right, got these spark plugs in. That worked out just fine. They're a little fiddly when you got big mitts, but yeah. And on this side, I got all of them in. All I had to do was just dimple that just slightly. You can see it's not a huge amount. I found this on the side of the road, and I just stuck this against the mount there with the spark plug out, obviously, and used that as a lever and just pounded on this thing this way, and it was like a couple little hits and that thing moved perfectly. So that worked out great. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stud out and try to move it over here. I don't know that I'm going to have the room. I may have to beat on that pipe a little bit too. The reason why is that I saw a picture, and that's what someone else had done to get this alternator mount bracketed up there. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to just run it and then take a look at it, see if the thing moves around. If it doesn't move around, then I'm not going to worry about it. Or that can always be done later. These whole bracket assemblies are like $25 shipped, so if I tweak it, I'm not terribly worried about it. And I got AAA. So now I'm going to go ahead and run the wires. I actually need a spark plug wrench because I can't get a socket on some of these. So I need like an angled open wrench that I can slide in over the plug, but still just get a tiny little bit of turn on there. But I think it'll run for now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing plumbed up after I take a leak. All right, got these plug wires routed. They should be in the correct firing order. Got the ignition hooked up to the distributor and did the same over here. But boy, I'm going to brag about this kit. This was not cheap. This was like $300 or $280 or something like that. This Master Cool flaring tool, it is an incredible piece. I am terrible at making flares. Awful. I've used those cheap ones, you know, the kind that just clamp and they chew up everything. Look at how freaking perfect that flare was. That is incredible to me. That was just a piece of cake. I just cut it down a little bit just to get it out of the way and wanted to reflare it. And I gotta tell you, that was impressive. There's two of them out here, one for GM transmission lines, and then the other one doesn't. The one with GM transmission lines, which are these dies, are a little more expensive. I figured it was worth the $15 to pay more just to have the tool in case I needed it, because that's just my stupid brain. But this kit, on my first flare, I cannot be happier than that. Incredible tool. There's lots of videos of people showing you how to do it, but whew. Anyway, so I'm getting closer. I'm going to finish hooking up the fuel stuff and then get this thing primed. I need to plumb that into the other side of the transmission cooler, although it shouldn't be going anywhere until the car actually rolls. Still would like to have the whole system plumbed up, and then it'll be time for our first start, if I didn't screw anything up. This is kind of nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time. Well, you know what this time is. I got the fuel system replumbed. Everything's doing fine. The carbs floats are working. Ignition's hooked up. Got plenty of fuel. I think it's time to wing it over and see what happens. This is going to be interesting. I have a feeling that some of the valves might not be adjusted properly, but I think I got most of them well enough that it's going to be fine. Trying to make sure you get some good lighting. That's going to be rickety as all get out. How about that? That's better. Okay. 9:20. It's pretty late. Give her some fuel. I'll do it with my foot. Turn signals on. You know, when I said I had plenty of fuel, I didn't actually turn the fuel pump on. Idiot. Idiot. Now she's running. Plenty of squirts now. Now the question is, did I get that in the right position? Oh well, we'll find out. Oh. Did I get it 180 out? That's another question. I think I did. Yeah. Yeah. I think I got the distributor 180 out. All right, well. Yeah. It's too late for me to stab the distributor in backwards tonight. So, we're just going to call it. Make sure there's no more fires where they shouldn't be. But that's clearly it's doing okay. I know it made 45 pounds or 40 pounds of pressure on just the just the starter. So I know I'm good there. But that's going to have to do it for tonight. It's just too late. Too late. It's just too late. It's got fuel. It wants to do ignition. But I'm just not there yet. Of course, you stab the distributor in 180 out. When it starts firing back through the intake manifold like that, that's what's going on. So that's no big deal. I just don't have it in me to keep going tonight. Like I said, it's the better part of 9:30. We're darn close, so I don't really want to be out here for another half hour pulling the dizzy out and doing all that stuff. But yeah, getting there. Find something to do, go out and do it. Find something hard to do.